Let's take a quick look at this nice idea of treating campuses like a town, since they are actually little towns, especially when they are big campuses. Some of the campuses in the US, for example, have up to 60,000 or 50,000 students, plus when you add the staff and the faculty and all the other groundskeepers and so on, you can end up with a much bigger than a little town in most cases. So what is the idea? Promoting sustainable development in cities using the water sensitive urban design approach. Can you just treat it campus as an urban design problem and focus on water as one of the sectors for sustainability? Rapid population growth and urbanization of countries' landscapes are putting pressure on both natural and man-made environments. Coupled with the climate change, population growth and urbanization are pressuring cities' infrastructure and carrying capacity. Cities are facing several challenges to achieve sustainable development, including the promotion of public health, transportation, sanitation, water supply, energy supply, and employment. Particularly in developing countries, cities are facing several challenges regarding water management, floods, water shortages, waste of water, and sanitation, and thus requiring effective approaches to promoting sustainable water management. One such approach is the Water Sensitive Urban Design, WSUD. The focus of this study here is this water sensitive urban design. The aim of this study is to understand how SWSUD approach can promote sustainability in urban areas and increase cities' resiliency to climate change. This study presents the WSUD approach and its practices, and also presenting the approach into a university as a case study. The literature indicates that governments and social agents like universities must invest in new approaches to promote sustainable development in cities, such as the WSUD, to improve water management and avoid potential crises. Therefore, as complex institutions, university campuses provide a perfect environment for innovation, experimentation, and learning, serving as a role model for their city and surrounding communities. So obviously we are talking about specific urban design problem in the context of overall sustainability, but implementing that on campus so that innovation needed can be done instead of just research and then papers saying this is how cities should do it. So this is about actually implementing and seeing what are the problems cities are likely to face when they want to implement your great research idea. Right? What did they conclude? The aim of this study was to understand how the WSUD approach can promote sustainability in university campuses and increase its resilience to climate change. When it comes to cities, we think about green, inclusive, and resilient cities. So if campus can become the same, even if in one sector like water to start with, then it's a lesson that can be transferred to the city outside. The study used the UFSC as a case study going back to Florence, and the approach could later be replicated to other universities and cities. The literature indicates that universities must invest in new approaches to promote sustainable development in cities, such as the WSUD, to improve water management too and to avoid crises. There are details there. Again, as I said, there was no effective figure that I could use to make some additional points, so I gave up and just decided to jump to the conclusions here. So let me make sure I am saying the right thing and not just claiming something because I'm being lazy. Promoting water sensitive, well, actually there are pictures, so examples of vegetated ditches improving the urban spaces. There are ornamental ponds with recreation basin function, examples of permeable paving. So these are kind of sustainable approaches to urban water management. So it's talking about doing that on campus, and there is a figure showing the UFSC campus with various implementations. So there are figures, but they are mostly included in series of podcasts I have on in my adaptation course based called Nature-Based Solutions for Cities and Urban Resilience, Renewables for Urban Centers, and so on. Okay, so you can look them up there. University campuses provide a perfect environment for innovation, experimentation, and learning, serving as a role model for their local cities and surrounding communities. The WSUD approach recommended for the UFSC campus in southern Brazil, I said Florence before, Brazil, aims to improve the sustainable water management in the institution by implementation of green permeable pavements, which is already applied in many cities, the creation of vegetated ditches to replace the paved ones, the implementation of vegetated ditches instead of the paved ones, that repeats itself, the creation of mini barriers and waterfalls in the river to improve the oxygenation of the water and to filter possible residues, implementation of green roofs and green walls to improve thermal comfort in the buildings whilst improving air quality and the aesthetics of the campus, and 6, installation of a stormwater harvesting pond to reduce floods on campus. These are not so special in the broader context that many cities already are using these. The difference here is that the campus can be used as an innovation to improve on these methods and see what are the barriers to implementing them and what are the costs and benefits involved and so on and so forth. Okay, so leave it here and come back and talk a little about fisherman and the farmer, how to enliven the concept of sustainability by means of a theater piece. So we'll obviously cover the whole gamut in terms of using theater as a way to pass on a message, make impact, and this happens a lot in climate as well, climate change in general. I am not always convinced about the sustainability of those approaches and the efficacy of them in bringing about action, behavioral change, and so on, but awareness definitely is increased when you do this, especially when you take these to the people on the street, in the rural areas, and in informal neighborhoods in cities like slums and so on, which do not have access to information that others may have easily. Okay, so leave it here.